addition to serving as the liaison for the White House with the Latino community, I also serve as the liaison around immigration. And we know that there's an important conversation that we want to engage in today around immigration. Now, President Obama from day one has been forceful about the need to fix our broken immigration system. But we know that that's not necessarily a law that he can change on his own. We know that the issues facing the American people, whether we're talking about jobs in the economy, healthcare, education, or immigration, require real bipartisan solutions and real bipartisan leadership and support. But unfortunately, we have not seen that level of bipartisan support around immigration reform for many years. I think the last time that we had a real successful attempt was in 2006 with the Kennedy-McCain legislation. Even as recent, and I know one of our representatives mentioned this, but even as recent as December of last year, we made an attempt to pass the DREAM Act. And we had all of our cabinet members out and talking with, whether it was at that time Secretary Locke, talking with business folks, talking about the economic imperative for comprehensive immigration reform, or it was Secretary Duncan from the Department of Education, talking about how we need to continue to retain the kind of talent that we're investing in through our educational system. But unfortunately, we did not gain the votes in the Senate that we needed to be able to pass that legislation. And I think the fact that so many states now are attempting to enact immigration laws at a state level is yet another testament to the need for federal action in this area. We know what needs to happen is for Congress to begin real dialogue and real discussion, not just about the DREAM Act, but about a more comprehensive approach to fixing our immigration system that we know is broken. So we're going to continue to call on Congress to do the right thing and to act around this area. But at the same time, we know that there are efforts that we can do on an administrative basis that will continue to improve the system. And so those are some of the things that I want to share with you all today. Before I do that, though, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the economic imperative that both efforts like the DREAM Act and comprehensive immigration reform can have for our country. It was estimated by the Independent Congressional Budget Office that the DREAM Act could actually cut $1.4 billion from our federal deficit in the next 10 years. That's $1.4 billion. So when we talk about the need to reduce our deficit, we can't look at it from a very myopic standpoint and not assume or understand that immigration reform and things like the DREAM Act would actually help to benefit our country in that way. We know that comprehensive immigration reform would actually boost GDP by more than 1 percentage point. So again, these are real economic benefits around comprehensive immigration reform, and that's an important conversation that we need to continue to have. In that regard, we have been working with our agencies, in particular in the areas of enforcement, to look at ways that we provide, I think, a more humane approach to our efforts. Now, one of those areas was the enactment of prosecutorial discretion and clearly outlining guidelines in terms of what the priorities for our enforcement actions are, and really prioritizing those that pose either a national security or public safety threat to our communities, and ensuring that those guidelines are not just guidelines on paper, but are actually being implemented in communities across the country. So we issued those guidelines in June of this past year and helped to actually enact more robust training and implementation of our immigration officials in the field. We have trained to date all of our immigration lawyers within the system on these new prosecutorial guidelines, and again, prioritizing those that are posing a national security or public safety threat, and really looking at folks that have either felony or misdemeanor records. We've also begun a review, and it's called our case-by-case review, of all of the cases that are currently backlogged in the immigration system. That's approximately 300,000 cases. Now, that is an unprecedented second review and second look based on the new guidelines and the new priorities that we've put in place. Now, we know that 300,000 is not just a number, that those represent mothers, families, individuals that are many of whom are contributing to our community. And so that second review process is an important process for us to ensure, again, that these guidelines aren't just benefiting new individuals that might be entering into the system, but that those that have been in the system for way too long. Now, the other area that we've been working closely on as well is to ensure that we are, rather than going after and penalizing workers who are just trying to make a living and just trying to earn a wage because of their immigration status, that we're not going after those workers, that we're actually looking at unscrupulous employers who may be taking advantage of worker status and their kinds of undocumented status. And so that's been a critical shift in terms of some of our enforcement efforts. And you all have heard about some of the state laws that have been enacted, and our Department of Justice has been extremely aggressive in identifying which laws they feel violate our basic constitutional rights, and have actually initiated several lawsuits in that regard. I'm sure some of the ones that are most notable right now are Arizona and Alabama, but there is also a list of states that our Justice Department is actively pursuing to, again, ensure that things like the fair housing laws and things like access to education and these basic constitutional rights that we are all afforded for being in this country are not being violated as a result of states wanting to take a federal issue into their own hands. So with that, I wanted to turn it over to Rachel Ellis to talk a little bit about how we're improving the current system for immigration services.